Hello there lovely crafters, I'm Terry of Vig Says Creates and I'm delighted to be guest designing for Heffy Doodle. So in this video I'm going to create a super cute card using this DL stitched trio die set, which also comes with these handy little apertures to use in your cards. I'm also going to be using these two super cute stamp sets, the Dear to Me and the Nuts About You. All products used in this video will be listed in the description box below. Also in this video I'm going to be showing you two nifty hacks. So one of them is a way to stretch your stamps that maybe have been designed to be used on US A2 size cards or smaller sort of cards to make them suitable for use on a DL card. And the other hack is about how to create a scene and then hack it basically to make it much more dimensional. So by the end of this video we're going to have a super cute card and you will have picked up at least 2 new tips. I'll see you back in a moment to create the first step of our background. Okay, so first of all I have cut out the largest DL stitched panel from some smooth white cardstock that's suitable for ink blending, and I'm using 2 of my recent favourite colours for cloudy skies, which are Tumbled Glass and, funnily enough, Kitsch Flamingo. I really like this combination because it gives a bit of a pinkish purplish tone to the clouds, which I just think looks really pretty. It just has like a pinkish purplish tone. It works really well with the tumbled glass. And you can make this as subtle or as vibrant as you want depending on the effect that you're going for. So I'm now going to continue on with the rest of the panel and then show you what I'm going to do to it, which is the second great tip that I was telling you about in a moment. Okay, so what I have done is, as you saw, I used the largest DL stitched die to cut this panel. As you can see, I've ink blended the panel and I'm really pleased with the way the ink blending has turned out. Those fluffy clouds and the added interest using the pink. I've then used the 2 nesting smaller dies to cut out the 2 smaller panels, and I've done this twice, so I've used like scrap cardstock and stuck 2 together, so this is quite thick. And now what I'm planning to do at this point, you might be going but don't, it's okay. I'm going to use the 2 smaller dies and we're going to be cutting this panel up. So I'm going to first use this die, so there'll be the border. Then I'll use the smaller die, and then this portion will be stuck on there. The portion between the 2 will be stuck on there. That portion will be stuck onto another white piece of card, which will then be stuck onto the card blank. So it will end up being quite dimensional, and that's really what I want. So this is one of the little hacks that I mentioned. So this should, from the front, give some really visual interest because the lines of the clouds will still appear, but it will just give some nice dimension. And I must admit, one of my sort of things is that I do like dimension in my cards. And just like magic, here we go. So it's really quite an amazing technique. I don't know where I've picked it up from. I can't claim credit for it, I don't think. I'm sure I've probably seen someone do something similar in the past, but just look at that. You know, we can clearly see that it's one continuous scene, but you can definitely see obviously the dimension and with the stitch detail. So I mean, just that on its own, if you did something like that and used one of the large word dies that Heffy does, you know, you could do that on a landscape. Maybe if you'd done the clouds the other way and then have like thanks or happy birthday or I love you or something like that. And you've got yourself a card there straight away, because like someone would look at that and go like, wow, that looks really awesome. You could do it with lines or patterns or whatever, that kind of thing. So the next thing I'm going to do is stick these pieces down and put it under something heavy so that it can all secure. So the next thing I'm going to do is use these gorgeous critters that I've stamped out already to, along with some other stamps which I have yet to stamp out, to create a scene. And that's where I'm going to share with you the second technique that I mentioned around how to stretch your stamps, which are meant for smaller sized cards to be used on a DL size card. So I'm going to do a lot like this type of colouring off camera, but I'm going to obviously show you how to stretch the stamps on camera. So I'll see you back in a moment for the next part. Okay, so I've now glued the panels one on top of the other, and I think you'll agree that looks really funky and just gives a really nice dimensional effect. I've coloured up these three little cute images using Copics, and now what I want to do is to create a bit of a sort of woodland theme around the cute little images. So there's various stamps that I want to use from both of these sets. So I'm just going to grab my stamping platform and show you how I'm planning on lengthening these trees, because obviously these were made for a smaller card. Okay, so I've got the skinny birch tree. So this is the one that I want to extend, and I'm going to use a little hack where I mask off using just a bit of washi the top part of the stamp. So what I'll do is I'll ink it up with some alcohol marker friendly ink, and then you can see that the top bit is covered with that masking tape. So then I will remove the, well, not masking tape, washi tape, and then stamp that down. So there we've got an open top, and then there's two ways that you can go from here. You can either, if you're confident with a ruler and a pen, you can just extend upwards, and especially as this is such a simple image, or you could restamp this stamp on top. So that way you'd be masking off the bottom and restamping on top. So you just need to look through the stamp. And again, this only works if it's the same width all along. Obviously, if it's a different width, which it isn't, it looks like it's the same width all along, then obviously it wouldn't work. But it does need to be the same width, and you need to make sure that you line it up perfectly. So excuse my head, but that is lined up pretty perfectly. And then obviously I need a bit more washi to mask off the bottom portion. Remove our washi, keep our fingers crossed. Okay, so it's very, very slightly off. Now, actually, I think that would be okay, because the position that would be is where I want my bird feeder, which I'm actually going to cut out anyway. So I'm going to colour that and then cut it out so I can position that on there so it'll cover up, but you can see it's only very slightly out. So if you just repeated that process and were a bit more careful, then that would work. Or you could do the other way and just do it with a pen. So I'll show you that way as well. So with this, I would use an archival ink pen. I've got quite a thin one there. I'll get a slightly thicker one. So just using the ruler, and following that line, and then we could also add another one of these. So if we go up a bit further, then go over a little bit, so we've got the same sort of thickness. Yeah. And then we can draw our own. So basically just go with your gut, don't think about it too much. There you go. And ensuring we're all still in line. Okay, so you can see I've made a bit of a mess there, but because this is archival ink and it takes slightly longer to dry. But that essentially is how to do it. And I think a big tip to give you is just don't be afraid of trying things. You know, like lots of people tend to get very scared at doing things freehand and saying like, oh, I wouldn't have the confidence to do that. But as you can see, this is like fine. You know, this just looks like a DL stamp, but that is essentially how to do it. So just don't think about it too much. Don't overanalyze. Just trust yourself and go with it. Obviously this is going to be coloured with Copic, so these few little smears, it doesn't matter. And there we go. So we've got two nice long stamps that will perfectly fill our space here. So what I'm going to do next is plan out the rest of my scene. I'm going to stamp out some of the branches, the bird feeder, and a few of these little leaf elements, the tree trunks, the mushrooms, maybe the little mouse. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp the rest of those images and colour them off camera, fussy cut them all out, and then come back and share with you the completed card. So see you back in a mo. Okay, so here we go, the completed card. It's very dimensional. I popped the sentiment up onto some 3mm deep foam tape, so that sits up nicely as well. I have added some crystal glaze to the mushrooms and these little things, which I can't think of the name of right now. And there we go. I'm really pleased with that. I think it's a really versatile card. You can really you could give that to anybody. You could turn it into a birthday card, a thinking of you card. So for more inspiration on using Heffy Doodle products, check out some other videos and pictures on their socials and also the blog. So this make will have a corresponding blog post which will have more up close pictures as well. And also included in the description box will be links to my socials. So thanks for spending this time with me today. One or two videos will now pop up that you can go and have a look at for some more inspiration. There is so much inspiration on this channel. It is awesome. So take care everybody. Bye for now.